Hello and welcome everyone. If you are old hat, welcome back. If you're brand new, welcome you. This is a channel where we like to talk about writing across many different genres, including video games, TV, music, books. If it has a way to have story involved in it, we like to talk about it here. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, how about buckling in to join us on a video game related video today. So what we're doing here is we're digging back into a game that I actually covered initially in a live stream that I did a while back, and that is the game Jet Set Radio Future. And it is not a game that has a very strong story element to it, as that is not the purpose for this specific format of video game, which is a skater game, essentially. I will get more into the particulars of it, but first I want to address real quick, for those of you who did happen to see the live stream, because there wasn't a huge turnout for it because it was my first ever time doing it. I was horrible at promoting it, but that's what learning is about, and friends, we are here to learn regardless of how long it takes us to get something right. It's the process that makes it worth it. So I'm acknowledging the fact that that whole thing was a huge learning experience, including the fact that I do not believe that I was the most dynamic in that video, because I was dealing with some massive fear issues that day. With the fact that it was my first ever time live streaming, being real, I was so anxious, I was physically sick that day. And so my personality, I do not feel like really shined through. And I don't think my commentary was as dynamic or interesting as it could have sounded because of that. But there is still value in talking about this game, and I'm hoping that I can kind of, in a sense, redeem myself by finishing the game here with you today, or at least getting closer to finishing the game. So to set up the premise for those of you who did miss the live stream, or who, I'll link it in case you want to go back and see the beginning live stream, but it was a live stream, so it's a little long. But basically what's going on in this world is we are in the city of Tokyo-to, and we are a skate gang in this city, and we are going about spraying graffiti to bring the soul of the street alive. And we're living in this world where there are other street gangs that we are facing off with, battling over turf and all of that fun jazz. And then there is also a police department that is trying to thwart us. Not necessarily because of the fact that we're breaking the law and graffiti, like how it's depicted in the game where you're just randomly going and tagging places. That is against the law. Don't do it. There's ways to do graffiti style art in legal manners, but just going up and tagging a wall is not it. So caution there. But that is not why the police are actually after us in this game. In this game, it is because of the fact that they are connected to a corrupt figure, which as we go throughout the story, we get more info on what role that particular person plays. This person's name is Rukaku, and he is trying to take over the radio, which is like free thought and free speech representative in this storyline, and he has the police in his back pocket. And because of the fact that us kids going around spraying graffiti everywhere is a little bit of an issue for him to do that, he sends the police after us every once in a while to try to mess with our day. So there you have a couple sets of antagonists for us to come up against. We have Rukaku, who is our main antagonist, the police, who are his cronies, and then you have all the other rival street gangs. So in the beginning of this story, we are moving through these different areas, coming up against these different gangs, and eventually one of the characters in the game, called Yo-Yo, who is a playable character, although characterization is not what this game is about for sure. Plot elements we can talk about in this game, depth of character, not so much. But anyway, so Yo-Yo, this character that is playable, gets kidnapped, and we go off to try to rescue him, try to find him. And while we're in the process of this, we end up getting kidnapped by a rival gang called the Noise Tanks, and they throw us into this game called Death Ball, which has life and death stakes, or at least mind control stakes, where like if you lose, you end up getting mind controlled by the Noise Tanks to go and do their little biddings. So you don't want that to happen. And we managed to escape from that because the police came trying to interfere and round everybody up, but we managed to defeat the police. So the police interfered with the Noise Tanks, and because we beat the police, we were able to escape the Noise Tanks. I hope you're following me still, because I'm trying to do like the fastest summary possible so the front matter in this video isn't too ridiculously long. Anyway, so now that we are out, there are Noise Tanks literally everywhere, and we have to destroy these random Noise Tanks, which are the only like truly non-human characters. You could argue that the Immortals are also not human, which is another rival streak gang, but these guys are robots. The Immortals may or may not be mummies. I don't know if that's ever truly answered, but we are facing off against these guys. We got to destroy all these random robots that are everywhere, and then that's gonna unlock the next part of the plot progression. So let's go ahead and get into the actual playing. One of the things, the reason why my character was flashing red is because if you are not moving fast enough when you hit Noise Tanks, you get hooked. Like that. And I had the hardest time trying to figure out which of my save files was the one from doing the live stream, because in early Xbox and video game fashion, you just get like the timestamp code for your save. You don't get to like name it or anything, and with the fact that the characters are not like hugely unique, you don't get to name them or customize them, being what I mean. There's like no real good way to identify what game is what. And I was like, oh, well, there's timestamps. That will work because I have my recorded live stream. I know how long that took, so I can just look at the live stream time and be like, yeah, okay, that's the game that it goes with. But I have no explanation for it, but the time that it took the live stream and the time recorded in game was different by like an hour. I'm assuming that just has to do with how the timekeeping in the game is versus what the actual real life time was for the live stream. But I'm not that technically minded, so I cannot say 100% for sure. I was just about to check my map to see if there was any Noise Tanks nearby, and they were right in front of me. So this is our wonderful world of Tokyo To, for those of you who are seeing it for the first time. Everybody's running everywhere at the moment. Oh, I forgot about the ones over my head. Everyone's running around all at the moment because of the fact that the Noise Tanks are here and wreaking havoc, per se. Let's see if we can get them all in one shot. Ah, I missed one! No! Must go back and try again. So that's why people are running everywhere. Normally the people are a little bit more composed, at least until you get next to them, and then they scream and run away because you're being an obnoxious child and they don't like it. There the bear is. I'm still missing so many. So I said that I played this game a lot, and I have played this game a lot, but it has actually been a couple years since I did my last like full playthrough, so I'm not like as smooth with this as I would like to be, and I didn't mean to get on that lizard's tail because I was trying to go over here. I thought for sure someone was in that stairwell. Oh, but yeah, this was a very precious game to me, like back when we were kids. I say we because of my brothers, where it's a solo play game, so you're not playing with other people, but my brothers and I would like sit on the couch and we would pretend that we were like on comms with each other, being like, Pete, did you check the alley? And things like that. really making it annoying to myself with how I've been playing it, in the sense that I am a massive video game completionist. And if you are not someone hugely into video games and you're not sure what the term completionist means, that means that I literally do every single possible thing that there is to do in the game to get to the completion. I do all the collecting, because every game has some level of collecting in it. I do every single side quest and main mission. I unlock all the characters that you can get and everything. And it's just, it was way too much to try to do in a live stream. And also, like, unless I'm doing just a regular Let's Play, or if I'm doing like a video game video, where the whole premise is to be completionist towards it, like, there's no point in me doing it in a completionist style, because then that's just going to be a bunch of extra gameplay that nobody's interested in. See, just need 10 more now, and then we can go on to the next plot point, and we should be able to get those pretty quickly in this place. So I've been purposefully trying to not be a completionist with this game, and it's been so hard, because it's so many things that I just, like, instinctually, like, the number of times that I've done, we gotta go Skyscraper District now, okay. The amount of times that I played this game in the completionist format, like, I'm having to, like, battle with myself to not go and pick up everything and do everything that I normally would, because that's not the point this time. So if any of you all out there are also completionists and can feel my pain, I appreciate you. There's so many different ways that you can play video games and experience the different things that video games have to offer, that's one of the reasons why that I feel like it's important to talk about the writing elements in video games and to actually, like, explore video games together on this channel, because there's a lot of meat there to get through. There are so many channels on YouTube that are video game channels, all for the purpose of talking about the actual game or dissecting the game in a gameplay format. And there's not so much anything on the writing angle and the storytelling angle. Well, there's a few people that discuss it or side discuss it. Oh, I was supposed to go out there. Okay. Let's just turn around then. But there's so much that video games have to offer. And a lot of people are still, like, naysayers towards video games, where they're like, they're just time-consuming things that make you stare at a screen for longer and encourage disrespect toward parents and violence. And that's not correct. I mean, I'm sure that there's a chance of that, but it's really not actually significant. And there's a lot more value you can get out of video games than negative things, as long as you're playing the right games, I guess. So, next little tiny bit of story here. I just realized maybe I should read these things because there's no voice for it. I can do the voices. What is that guy? We gotta go off to Sky Dinosaurian Sphere, also known as Fear of Heights Land. So if you can get virtual vertigo, here's your trigger warning. I can tell you that as a kid, this was terrifying. So basically at this point, we think that Yo-Yo is actually, why am I taking, like, the longest way to rotate the camera? We think that Yo-Yo is leading the noise tanks, that he betrayed us and our gang, the GGs. And so we're, like, out to try to stop him because we think that the noise tanks are all his fault. Very pop culture thing here. Which is why we have, like, the dances and stuff. Oh my goodness, I don't remember which one it was. You know what? Let's just save over game data 1. Realistically, oh, it was the second game. Okay. Another thing with it being an older game, you only get 3 save slots. That's all you get. So it was literally like, it was always, we did birth order for my brothers and I, where my older brother got slot 1, I got slot 2, younger brother got slot 3. Gotta be him. He's a fake. Oh no. There's never been peace on the streets and there never will be. Chaos is its true nature. I don't know why she should sound refined like that. So, plot twist, Yo-Yo was not in fact a traitor. There is just a noise tank disguised as him. And now we have to play Tagger's Tag, where the whole point is we have to use our spray cans to tag the backs of several other characters while not getting tagged ourselves in order to I just realized I have no clue if I'm like emoting in my face as well as my voice. My tendency is to just be completely stoic in my face. Oh, big bad boss guy. Why does it matter to you punks what goes on in the street? I cannot compute, but be warned, I may have been beaten, but the Syndicate has their eyes set on you. You best sleep with one eye open from now on. Let me just embarrass myself more. Now, this was before the Nicki Minaj side of the song, super bass. Have your tea, folks. So this entire section here where we just had that video was pushing us towards like the next set of goals that we're going to have in the video game sense, and in the story sense, this is where we're starting to build up other plot points. Oh, this dude. If you played this game before, you know what I mean. Anyway, so I'll just hold on here for a moment because we're about to have an interaction here. But so our next set of plot points are laid out for us pretty plainly because of the fact that this is a video game where it's like, okay, you're going to need to go do this, go do this, go do that. Because everything in video games needs to be task oriented to give you direction about what you need to do. And especially in these older games where there's less hand-holding as far as giving you objectives and points to go to, essentially the way that it's handled in this game is they just like go, here are all the plot things that you need to do. Here are all the activities that you need to accomplish. And this guy, Clutch, is another one of them. So we just got a bunch of different directions. So this is kind of like if you were looking at the plot model, like the Aristotelian plot model with, it's like mountain shape going on. They're laying out the next like 5 steps on the rising action of the different things we're going to need to do, and also focusing in more on the antagonist and how that antagonist is getting more and more challenging for us to face off against. That way we have reason to continue to improve, to continue to grow and build our skills, this time as a player versus as a character, because characterization isn't so big in this particular video game. Although you can kind of figure out some character points. There's not a lot there. But it gives us a reason as players to need to improve our characters, which is the same thing that you're trying to do when you're writing a story. There has to be a reason for your character needing to get better. In this case, we now have additional rival gangs, which are harder than the ones that we have been facing off against previously. We also have this new elite force that we are going to be facing off against, the Golden Rhinos, who we were told are very well-trained assassins. Essentially, they just hurt a lot more. And then we're about to have what's going on with this guy, that you will see in just a moment. And so with these things that are laid out, we now have the next several steps on our plot diagram, pushing us further along towards our climax and towards our final face-off with Rokaku actually in person. Because when we're building our stories, you know what, I'm gonna let him go and continue talking as we're going around, because we're gonna have a lot of going around to do. Oh wait, I forgot, because I'm not being a completionist. I can't do that particular part. Haha, that's hilarious. It's not too much of a spoil to tell you what's going on with him. Essentially, graffiti souls are one of those things that you can collect, and the lore for the game is that you need to, the reason why you're able to see the graffiti souls at all is because you have this soul of the street. So the graffiti souls are those red things on the map there. I'm pointing at the screen of my computer as if you can see where I'm pointing. You cannot. And the way that this works, I can't point to it using anything on my screen either, because I am playing with a controller still. I mean, this is how I've always played, so I'm not gonna change it. Sorry, computer gamers. So we need to actually go pick some of those up, and because of the fact that I was trying so hard to not be completionist, I haven't tried at all to pick up any of the graffiti souls. Because that's just one of those extra little collection things. The fact that there is like a lore-based reason for why we can see them and why other people can't see them and what they're doing essentially in existence. Oh, I overshot it. I find that pretty interesting because that was a world building element that the game didn't technically need to do with the fact that it's not a story-based game, but they did. So I respect that. Back to discussions about plot elements and such. Having those next few steps outlined for us, they're not like clearly telling us what to do, but they are giving us a reason to continue to improve as players of the game. And when you are writing a story, writing those plot points, it is so important to give the reader a good reason for... Oh, I forgot about these guys. That's the Golden Rhinos. They hurt. Nope, I don't have enough cans. I will be back for you. Oh my goodness, and there's guys up there. Completely forgot. I don't have enough cans for this. What am I doing? Must gather ammunition in the form of paint. That's kind of counterproductive to actually do the graffiti. So you need to give reasons for your characters to continue to improve, and you do need to raise the stakes, which is essentially what has just happened. Our stakes have been raised. Do I have to actually knock you down? Yes, I do. Okay. Why do I get hurt? Ow. Well, that was because I got shot, but... I'm missing horribly. Doing a horrible job of this. Let's just take care of Teddy Bear Dude. Oh. You actually... Oh my goodness, how rude! Because he shot me, he negated the boost dash, which I needed to do in order to knock him down. So now I need to get even more cans. Thanks, but no thanks. Now I need to get health because I'm just letting myself be hurt way too much. So stakes are everything in plot. Let me get back to talking about writing. Where not only does it give you a reason for the character to improve, but it also just increases the plausibility of your story. Because it doesn't matter if you are writing a fantasy story, a sci-fi story, a realistic fiction, a romantic story. It doesn't matter. All of them need to have stakes. You need to have a reason for the character to improve, to challenge themselves, to get outside of their comfort zone, because that's where the interesting stuff is going to happen. And so we have so many different ways in writing that we can raise the stakes for our characters in order to build this dynamic interest and and to give our characters reasons to improve. I feel like I'm just like repeating myself constantly at the moment. I forgot to get health. This could be lethal. I was just so happy about finally successfully jumping to the place that I needed to be. But sometimes going directly where you need to go, as quickly as you can get there, is not the right answer. In plot and in life. Oops. I didn't quite turn the way I wanted to. My gameplay is just not on it today, but that is not the point. It has to be a little bit of the point. Oh, gracious. Couldn't have been done better if I actually was on my game for my gaming today. So I guess the main discussion to get out of the video today, because I don't want to make this video too horribly long, and I can only imagine how long it currently is. Stakes are really important for so many different aspects of your story, for making it more interesting, for making it more believable, because a person being put into a situation, whatever that situation may be, whatever kind of challenge they're facing, stakes are gonna be there, and they need to be there. Not just because of the fact that you need your character to grow, but because that's what an actual person would do. An actual person would be learning, growing, and changing, because it's almost like an inevitable part of life to learn, grow, and change. It's how humans are hardwired. And so your character's believability, the believability of your story is all connected to stakes, not just for the sake of having something that moves your story forward, but for the fact that your character is supposed to be a human or human-ish being. And so with that in mind, they need to be able to learn, grow, and change like a real person would. Otherwise, they don't come across as a real person. Other than that, we are pretty well wrapped up for today because I don't want this video to be too long. We will continue on at another point with this one. Next video to come out will be another editing-based video where we're going to be looking at another form of editing for having more ways to edit our novels so that we can find stuff that works for us, because writing is such an individual activity that there are too many. Stop yelling at me, DJ Professor K. Editing. Writing is a very individual practice, and so what works for you is not going to work so well for somebody else. So we're exploring a bunch of different ways that we can edit our novels so that we can play around with it and find something that works best for each one of us out there. And there's lots of great stuff out there. So next video will be an editing video. After that, we'll continue on with JSRF. Hopefully I will be more practiced at it by then, so I can do a little bit better job of this multitasking of talking while playing the game. See, this is what I didn't want to do, one that I didn't know so well first, because I knew it would just be so much worse. But yeah, gonna get better, which is awesome. Also, I've been considering going into more music reviews at this point, not like reviewing the music, but like talking about the writing elements behind it. And one of my favorite artists just dropped a new track, so I'm thinking of maybe hopping on that. So if you have a particular song you would like to have analyzed for its writing principles, also leave that in the comments section below. If you're interested in talking about more writing things across multiple genres, how about hitting that subscribe button? And if you liked this video, had some fun with it, give a like to the video as well. That really helps boost the algorithm, as the YouTubers say. But also it just lets me know that you actually like the content and want to see more of it, so that I'm not just doing stuff for myself, I'm doing it for you guys, which is kind of my whole purpose here. So other than that, just have a great one. Until the next one.